Alright guys, we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna start today lying on our backs. You're gonna more than likely want 2 blocks. We are gonna start lying on our backs with our knees bent, soles of the feet together, and the knees falling wide. And then this is where I like to use blocks. You can certainly let your knees float if you'd like. But, kind of for the first move of the day or the week, I like a little bit of support. So when you're ready, go ahead and get yourself set up here. And this support can always evolve and change in the few minutes that we're in this pose. So don't worry about getting it just perfect. Your hips are going to slowly, if you don't go too far and really sort of force them beyond where they're comfortable, the hips will slowly open up. So find yourself the right amount of support that you need this morning. And you can either rest your fingertips on your belly or let your arms come down by your sides, whatever works best for you. And then just find your breath. Listen to it come in and go out. Toes are relaxed. Shoulders settling down towards the floor. Relaxing the tongue and the throat. Watching the belly fill and empty with each inhale and exhale. Let your cheeks relax, your fingers. Even if the hips don't move, see if you can't bring a little more softness into the hips. Just peeling back the layers of tension. We often are holding at different points in our body without even realizing it. So this just gives us a chance to slow down and pay attention. We'll take 3 or 4 more breaths here. So if you'd like to change the amount of support, go ahead and do so. One more nice big breath in, and then let it out completely. Now we're going to move slow. Slow as molasses. You'd need a time-lapse video almost to notice the movement. As we bring those knees up towards the ceiling again. And they're going to quake and shake as different muscles sort of turn on and engage to help lift those knees up. But we are moving slow here. Notice what's working, notice what's not. Of course, as with everything, if something hurts, you can end this move right now. But if you're doing okay, just take your time lifting those knees slowly up towards the ceiling. Eventually, the soles of the feet come down to the mat. Take your time, no rush. Once the soles of the feet are flat on the mat again, you'll start to open the feet to the edges of the mat, knees still bent. And we're going to let the heels turn slightly out and let the knees turn, or let the toes turn slightly in, let the knees fall in towards one another. And so in that bound angle pose, we have the front of the hips open, now we have the back of the hips open. Set whatever props or support you were using off to the side. Take another breath here. And then leaving this right foot where it is, go ahead and extend the left leg just straight down on your mat. Flex the left foot, spread the toes. We're going to let that right knee fall in towards the midline. We're not pushing it, so we're not coming off of the right hip and looking for a twist. We want the right hip to stay grounded, just letting the right knee fall wherever it may. And you can adjust that right foot, maybe a little wider, a little higher, a little lower. Just looking for a little extra opening on the outside of that right hip. In fact, go ahead and press that right hip back down. My guess is it's gotten light, mine has at least. Press that right hip back down. One more breath. Go ahead and bend the left knee, place the foot wide on the mat. Extend the right leg straight out. Flex the right foot. We want to keep that right leg somewhat active. And let the left knee fall in towards the midline. Adjusting the left foot wherever you need to. Then if you notice that the knee has gotten so heavy to the right that the left hip has started to lift, press that left hip back down. Be nice to your knees here. Keeping the feet engaged helps with that. Take one more breath. Go ahead and bend that right knee, placing the foot wide on the mat again. Open the arms to T or goalpost. You can even grab opposite elbows up overhead, and we're just going to let the knees rock from side to side. So now the hip may leave the floor. Maybe the legs get all the way, or knees get all the way down towards the floor. Maybe they don't. We're just rocking from side to side, loosening up those hips, a little bit into the lower back. One more breath. And meet back at center. Go ahead and walk the feet in line with the center of the hips, toes pointed straight down to the bottom of your mat, arms come down by your sides. Go ahead and place your fingertips on your belly, and we're just going to do some reclined cat-cow here. So as you inhale, press the belly button up towards the ceiling, and you'll feel an exaggeration at this lumbar curve. Lower back is off the mat, but the shoulders are still down, the hips are still down. As you exhale, push the belly button down into the floor, flattening out the lower back. Hips and shoulders are still down, so we're not curling up here. We're just flattening out the lower back, and then inhale, reach the belly button back up. Exhale, press the belly button back down and just go back and forth. Small but powerful movements in the lower back. Inhaling and exhaling. One more in each direction. And meet back at a neutral spine. Go ahead and pull the knees into the chest. Roll around a little bit on the small of the back if you'd like. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, curl up into a little ball. So now your head and shoulders will lift, forehead towards your knees. Inhale, stretch it out, reach the arms alongside the ears, glue the legs together, reach with the heels, spread the toes. Fingers are interlaced, reach the palms for the baseboards long. Exhale, curl it back up into a little ball again. Inhale, stretch it back out. Good morning, stretch. Exhale, curl it back up. One more time, inhale, stretch it all out. Big breath in. And exhale, curl it up into a little ball again. Leave the knees in the chest, let the head and shoulders relax. Hand on each kneecap, just draw some circles with the knees in opposite directions. Right knee to the right, left knee to the left. Change direction. And bring the knees back into the chest. Now you can either roll over to your right side or roll the length of the spine, but we're going to bring ourselves up to seated. If you have a blanket handy or a throw pillow off the couch, go ahead and grab that and maybe lift those hips an inch or two or 6 if you need it. Sit up nice and tall, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, one ankle in front of the other so we don't have our heels and toes underneath our calves. Allowing those knees to get as close to the floor as they would like. Fingertips down by your sides, straighten the elbows. Shoulders are down towards the hips, crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. Reach the left arm up alongside the ear and walk that right hand out until the left hip gets light. When it does, press into that right hand and glue that hip back down, lengthening the left side of the body. Reach your heart slightly up towards the ceiling. So maybe that arm comes towards the back of the room just a little bit. Big breath in. As you exhale, bring this left hand down towards the right hip, rounding slightly. So now your heart is maybe pointed down towards the floor. Inhale, open that back up again. Exhale, round. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. Inhale that arm back up again. Reach the left arm to the left, palm up. Turn your gaze down to your right hand. Lengthening from the crown of the head to the left fingertips. Inhale all the way back up. Left hand comes down, right arm stays alongside the ear. Walk the left hand out until the right hip gets light. When it does, glue it back down and lengthen. One more breath here. And then the next inhale, you're going to start to bring the heart up towards the ceiling a little bit. So a slight twist up towards the ceiling. That right arm comes a little further towards the back of the room. And as you exhale, bring this right hand down to the left hip, rounding across the upper back. Inhale, open it back up again. Exhale, round. Go back and forth. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale that arm back up again. Give yourself one more lengthening to the left, and then reach that right arm back to the right, palm up, and gaze down to the left hand. Take one more breath here. Inhale all the way back up, and exhale, forward fold. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe shake the head around a little bit. Inhale, arms all the way back up again. Leave the ankles crossed, lift the knees. Maybe float the feet. Switch the cross of the ankles. Bring the feet all the way back down. Release the knees and forward fold. One more breath here. Inhale all the way back up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, release. Fingertips back down behind you and just lift the heart. Exhale. Let it all go. Just sit again for a moment. Go ahead and clear your space. And we'll come to hands and knees. So you're going to want to line up hips over knees. Heels of the hands under the heads of the shoulders. Index finger is pointed forward. Creases of the elbows are pointed forward. Feet are back behind the knees. They're not touching. They're not out wide. Shouldn't even be able to see them. Inhale, reach the heart forward. Exhale, round. And just go back and forth here a couple of times. Inhale and exhale. A more traditional cat-cow movement. Slightly bigger movement than we did down on the floor. No more powerful necessarily. Just different ways to get there. Meet back at a neutral spine. Let's just draw some circles with those hips. To one side, down towards the heels, up to the other side and forward. Change direction. And meet back at tabletop. Reach the right leg back behind you, toes curl under on the floor. Press back that right heel, but reach forward with the crown of the head. So it's not just everything pushing back. Also want length here. So pull in the belly, get long. You may even get a little bit light in this left knee. It doesn't have to lift off the floor, but the right side is super active from heel to the crown of the head. When you're ready, press firmly into the top of the left foot. Go ahead and float that right leg. Just hip height. Now did all your weight shift to the left? Line up that left hip back over that left knee. Get light in the left hand. And maybe reach the left arm forward, thumb up. One more breath. Push the floor away. And release. Bring the hand and the knee back down. Reach the left leg back behind you. Toes curl under. Press back that heel, but then also reach forward with the crown of the head. Left side of the body is so active. This right knee is really just there for balance. Not a lot of weight in that knee. One more breath. Press firmly into the top of that right foot. Float the left leg. Check your own alignment. Make sure that hip stays over the knee. Get light in the right hand. You can stay at fingertips or reach that arm forward, thumb up. Push the floor away. And release. Hand and knee come back down. Big toes come to touch. Open the knees wide. Bring the hips to the heels. Pose of the child. With the arms out in front, you can sway the hips a little bit from side to side. You can place a blanket underneath the head if your forehead doesn't come down to the floor, or a pillow. Go ahead and look up between the thumbs and come up onto fingertips. So now your arms are lifted, your wrists are off the floor. It's like you have a tennis ball under each hand. Walk the right hand through to center. Bring the left arm underneath the right. So maybe that left shoulder comes to the floor. If you'd like, you can stay right here, just reaching long through that right shoulder. Or if you'd like to deepen this a little bit, bend that right elbow, walking the fingertips towards the crown of the head, and reach that right elbow up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. Release. Back to child's pose. Come up on fingertips again. Lift the gaze. This time go ahead and walk the left hand in a little bit more towards center in line with the crown of the head. Right arm's going to thread underneath the left. Maybe the shoulder comes to the floor. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can start to walk those left fingertips towards the crown of the head, lifting the elbow up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. And release. Back to child's pose. Look up between the thumbs. We're going to shoot through forehead, nose, chin, chest, elbows stay in towards the ribs. Reach those legs straight back behind you. Thumbs are at your mid to lower ribs. Squeeze the elbows in and back. Charge up the legs. Press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Press into the tops of the feet. Squeeze those elbows. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. One more time. Charge up those legs. Pull in the belly. Inhale, lift. Slide the hands. They're not really going to move, but energetically towards your hips. Lift a little bit higher. Exhale, release. Stack one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Bend your knees and wave your feet from side to side. One more breath. Go ahead and release. Meet back in tabletop. Once again, reach the right leg back behind you, toes curled under. Take the left foot off to the left, drop that right heel. Reach the right arm up and alongside the ear. Now we're grounding into the pinky toe side of that right foot, reaching through the right shoulder. We're pushing ourselves off the floor so we're not hanging in this left arm. Option to float the right leg. Take one more breath. And release, back to tabletop. Switching sides, reach the left leg back behind you. Take the right foot off to the right, drop that left heel, reach the left arm up and alongside the ear. Pushing yourself away from the floor. Option to then float that left leg. It's holding itself up, so it's not just dangling there. Reach with the heel. One more breath. And release. Tabletop. Curl the toes under, walk your hands back towards your feet, lift your knees, lift your hips. Soft knees here. Fingertips on blocks or the floor, but not just dangling. I want you to bend the knees enough that you can relax those shoulders. You can shake the head around a little bit or any sort of wiggles or shift the weight around, whatever feels good to you. Take another breath. Slide the hands up the shins. Keep the knees soft. Straighten those elbows. Shoulders back towards the hips. Pull the belly in. Those hips then get to tilt just a little bit further up. Rather than tailbone down, we want tailbone up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Ground into those legs, bend the knees a little bit deeper. Scoop all the way up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself out to plank pose. Rock forward, bring your knees down. Reach your heart forward as you go. So your elbows are reaching back towards your heels. Press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, little baby cobra. Your back does the lifting, not your hands. Exhale, release. Press yourself up and back to child's pose or maybe down dog. Either way, find a place where you can sort of catch your breath. Breathe all the way into your belly. Slow everything down. We will meet standing on our knees. Feet are in line with the knees, hips over knees. Leave those left toes curled under, back behind you, and step that right foot out in front. Now watch that you don't get too narrow here. It'll be really hard to balance. You're more on a diving board than a balance beam. Pull the belly in, pull the ribs in. Tailbone, not back behind us, but down towards that left knee. Go ahead and inhale, arms up. Wiggle that right foot out in front a little bit, but we want to keep that tailbone down towards the floor. And you can bend into that right knee till the knee is over the ankle again, but if the tailbone sticks back out, I want you to back off a little bit. Take one more breath. Strong in that back leg. Bring the right hand to the right thigh, left hand underneath the left shoulder. Can be on a block if you'd like. Look over the right shoulder and reach that right arm up. Make sure the right knee is still over the ankle. Lift your heart up to your thumb. Exhale, release. Step that right knee back next to the left and meet standing on the knees again. Curl those right toes under. Step the left foot out in front. Make sure you have enough width. Pull in the belly, pull in the ribs. So as soon as I do that, as soon as I take the tailbone from kind of sticking back behind me and tilt it down towards my right knee, I can feel a little stretch in the front of that right hip. Inhale, arms up overhead. So maybe you want to stay right here. Maybe that's enough. Just getting taller. Also increase that stretch. Otherwise, you do have the option to wiggle that left foot forward a little bit and then maybe bend a little deeper into that knee. Take one more breath here. Strong in the back leg. Reach back with that right heel. Left hand to the thigh, right hand under the right shoulder. Look over the left shoulder. Reach that left arm up. Lift your heart up to the thumb. One more breath. Exhale, release. Step the right foot up to meet the left. Forward fold. Soft through those knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Check out the weight distribution in your feet. If you have a tendency to be on the pinky toe side, bring a little more weight to the inside, or vice versa. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach those inner thighs for the back of the room. Heart for the front of the room. Exhale, fold. And inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step your left foot all the way to the back of the mat till you've got right knee over right ankle, hip in line with knee, and that left leg is strong and straight. And then you can rock a little bit front to back. As you do this, if your right knee is going well past your right toes, then you might need to lengthen your stance a little bit. Next time you rock forward, bring that left knee down and inhale, arms up. One more breath. Exhale, release both hands down this time. We're going to roll up on that right heel, flex the right foot, spread the toes. Now again, watch that your left hip doesn't wander off to the left. Keep it lined up right over that left knee. And you can have blocks here underneath your hands. So really want the heart up and open. Just like in a forward fold when we're standing on 2 feet, we want to lift that tailbone. And if we're really sort of rounded and reaching for the floor, then that tailbone comes down. So lift as high as you need to get that tailbone up. One more breath. Go ahead and rotate that right leg to the right. So all the way from the hip, the toes start to turn to the right. Don't let that left hip jack out to the side. Bring those toes all the way back up. Soften into that right knee. And step back to either child's pose or down dog. One more breath here. We'll meet with the knees down Step that left foot out in front and pick that back knee back up again, just so you can check that alignment. Right leg is strong and straight with the left knee over the left ankle. If your hip is up and out to the side, you probably need to lengthen the stance. Next time you rock forward, bring that right knee down and inhale, arms up. Get taller, taller, taller. Take one more breath here. Release, fingertips to floor or block. Roll up on that left heel. Spread the toes. Taking however much height you need to sort of lift the heart and lift the tailbone. When you're ready, start to rotate that left leg to the left. Watch that the right hip doesn't wander. Take one more breath here. And release. Back to child's pose or down dog. Take another breath, letting those hips relax a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and curl the toes under if you're in child's pose. Walk the hands back towards the feet, and we'll meet in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself out to plank pose. Rock forward, knees down. Come all the way down onto your belly. Tuck those elbows in. Inhale, little baby cobra. Exhale, release to either child's pose or down dog. We're going to meet with the right knee down, left foot out in front. You can double check the alignment by picking up that right knee for a moment if you'd like. Make sure you have the right length, and then that right knee will come back down. Right hand under the right shoulder, left knee is over the left ankle. Reach that left arm up. Option to reach the left arm for the back of the room and maybe catch that right foot. Now, if you have to sort of back up and change the alignment a little bit to grab that right foot, that's fine. But if you have to stay way back here in this pose, it's not worth it. Just work on the twist. But if you can get that left knee over the ankle again and the chest open, then you do what you gotta do. One more breath. Exhale, release. Once again, roll up on that left heel and extend the left leg. Leave the right hand under the right shoulder, reach the left arm up. So the tendency is for that hip to come up with you. Bring that left hip back down and rotate that left leg to the left. Oh, that is no joke. One more breath. Lift your heart up to your thumb. And release. Step back to either your child's pose or your down dog. We'll meet with left knee down, right foot out in front. Pick up that back knee for just a moment to double check your alignment. Right knee over ankle, hip in line with knee, left leg strong and straight. Left knee comes down. Bring the left hand under the left shoulder, reach that right arm up. Option to reach the right arm for the back of the room and catch that left foot. Ultimately, we want that right knee over the right ankle and the chest open. One more breath. And release. Both hands frame that right foot, rolling up on the right ankle, or on the right heel, flexing at the ankle. Find some nice length here. And then leaving that left hand under the shoulder again, reach the right arm up. Watch that the hip doesn't come with you. Keep that right hip down and rotate the right leg to the right. Take one more breath. Exhale, release, soften that front knee. Plant the hands, curl the back toes under, and step that left foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. You may want blocks up at the top of your mat for this. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips are either on the floor or whatever height of block allows your upper back to be soft. And knees can be soft as well. But we're not knees locked and spine grounded here. So if you soften those knees, let those shoulders relax a little bit, take as much height as you need underneath your hands. You're going to want some level of support just for balance. And then if you have both knees a little bit soft, start there and then extend the right leg, leaving the left knee bent. Not locking it back behind you, but just getting that knee a little bit straighter. Maybe you even bend that left knee a little bit more. And then switch. Extend the left leg, soften the right knee. Take a breath or two here. Notice where you're feeling it. I'm feeling it really different on the left side than on the right. So just go back and forth, and if you want to hang out on one side, if you've got more sensation or something you feel like you need to work through, feel free to linger on one side a little bit longer. Pedaling out this forward fold. Take one more breath. Soften both knees. Go really soft in those knees. And just let the head sort of dangle there and the upper back just dangle. And then we're going to roll on up. Stacking knees over ankles. Hips over knees, one vertebrae on top of the neck, shoulders come up, back, and down. Go ahead and interlace fingers behind the back. Separate the feet outer hip distance. All 10 toes are pointed forward though, so don't have your feet turned out to the side. Soften the knees, reach the knuckles away, open the chest, and fold. Now you can stay right here, or if you'd like, once again, go back and forth a little bit. Softening one knee a little bit more, extending the other leg a little bit more, and switching. One more. Release the fingertips. Leave the heels where they are. Turn the toes out slightly. And we're going to try and come down to a squat. If you have bad knees, this is not your pose. Take another breath. And have a seat. And sit on the edge of the blanket again. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. And let the heels come in nice and close. Spread the toes. This time we want our toes to be active. Spread the toes. We want our ankles to be active, so we're not collapsing the inner ankle here. Pushing the feet into one another. Bring fingertips back behind you. And lift the chest. Lengthen the front of your body. And we'll just take about 4 or 5 breaths here. Breathing into those hips. We don't want to push our knees down towards the floor. We want to inhale, create some space, like you're blowing up a balloon in each hip, and exhale, see if you can't soften into that space just a little bit. One more breath. And release. Go ahead and lay down on your back. Knees bent, feet just in line with the center of the hips. We'll take a couple of breaths, counterbalance to where we just were with the heels slightly out, toes turned in, knees falling in towards one another. And just take a few breaths here. And when you're ready, go ahead and pull the knees in towards the chest. And you can roll around a little bit on the small of the back. Still just opening things back up. Hold on to that right knee. Place the left foot down on the floor, knee bent. Flex that right ankle. Reach the hands around the back of that right thigh, but way low, so not up towards the knee, down towards the hip. Press your shoulders down into the floor, send that right heel up towards the ceiling. No closer to you than your hip, and the knee can be slightly bent. Open the toes, and point and flex, and point and flex. Go back and forth. And then some circles. Change direction. Reach that heel back up again. Go ahead, pull the right knee back into the chest. Extend the left leg out on the mat. Place the left hand on that right knee, open the right arm out to a T, and we're gonna take a twist to the left. We wanna keep that right shoulder down, so that means my left knee is not gonna get to the floor. So the left hand just helps support it a little bit. Back to center. Both knees into the chest. Place the right foot down on the floor. Hook the hands low on that left leg this time. Flex the left ankle, spread the toes, send the left heel up towards the ceiling. Heel no closer to you than your hip, and then point and flex. Knee can be as bent as you need it to be. This is supposed to be a gentle class. Draw some circles. Change direction. Reach with that heel. Pull the knee back into the chest. Extend the right leg out on the mat. Right hand on that left knee. Left arm out to the side. And twist to the right. Keep that left shoulder grounded. Take one more breath here. And release back to center. Hand on each kneecap, just draw some circles. Opposite directions with those knees, right to the right, left to the left, change direction. And bring the feet all the way back down, knees bent. If there is anything else your body needs before coming to Shavasana, maybe you want another twist, maybe happy baby, maybe it's a headstand. That is all up to you. Take care of your body and what it needs, and eventually make your way to Shavasana. Now, Shavasana can be lying on your back with your legs extended, but if your back is bothering you, you can have knees bent, feet wide, knees falling in on one another. You can have feet up the wall. You can be seated. Totally up to you. You want to be comfortable. So once you settle in and find some stillness, that's when the interesting stuff starts to happen. With eyes closed, maybe the first thing you notice is the sound of your breath. Jaw is relaxed, so while your lips may be touching, your teeth are slightly separated, tongue unglued from the roof of your mouth. Shoulders are soft and relaxed. Breath moving easy. Belly is relaxed enough to allow the diaphragm to pull down, creating that swelling in the belly with the inhale, and then the diaphragm pushes back up again, allowing the belly to soften. Hips are heavy. Nice, relaxed. Even those quads. Fingers and toes relaxed. And when your mind inevitably wanders off and you notice, when you come back to the breath and your mat and your body, notice if you brought any tension back with you. And soften again. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. And bringing your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Arms and legs. Eventually bending your knees, rolling over to your right side, and pressing yourself up, using the strength of your arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes closed one more time. So what makes something beautiful? Well, there's the sort of conventional commercial version of beautiful, right? Certain people are touted as beautiful. Certain vistas are beautiful. But I really think what makes something beautiful is how it makes you feel. If it gives you kind of that warm, fuzzy feeling. So whether that be, a wonderful rescued dog with knotted up fur and missing an eye, that could be beautiful to you because that is your place of love. Cornfields and soybean fields could be beautiful because that is a place that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. The Grand Canyon is beautiful, hands down. But we don't always have to go to that extreme. It can be simple. It can be the walls that you have been stuck in for over a year now. If it's a place of comfort, it is beautiful. That is why our family is beautiful. So wishing you peace, joy, love, and light, and all that warm and fuzzy, wherever you can find it. Om Shanti 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 and Namaste.